What if the greatest hero of Sparta died in the most terrifying way imaginable? Pause. Not in battle, not by an enemy sword, but sealed alive inside a temple by his own people. Heartbeat sound. And the reason. Pause. They believed he had betrayed Sparta. But here's the real question. Did he actually betray them? Or was this one of the darkest political traps in ancient history? Stay with me, because this story is far more shocking than you think. Background: the world of Sparta. Dark historical music. To understand Pausanias, you must first understand Sparta. Sparta was not just a city, it was a machine of war. From childhood, Spartan boys were trained to fight, endure pain, and show no weakness. Compassion was rare, mercy almost non-existent. Sparta believed one simple truth: only the strongest deserve to live. Pause. And among these warriors, one man rose above them all. His name was Pausanias. Not a king, but a regent, a temporary ruler who commanded the Spartan army. And soon, he would become one of the most famous men in all of Greece. The war that changed everything. War drums begin softly. The year was around 479 BC. Greece stood on the edge of destruction. The mighty Persian Empire, the largest empire the world had ever seen, was invading. Cities were burning, armies were crushed, hope was fading. But then Sparta made a decision. They sent their best commander, Pausanias. Pause. This was not just another battle. This would decide the fate of all Greece. The Battle of Pausanias. Epic battle music rises. Thousands of soldiers stood across the battlefield. The Persians massive in number, the Greeks desperate but determined. And standing at the center of the Greek forces, Pausanias, calm, silent, watching. Pause. Then the battle began. Spears clashed, shields shattered, men screamed as war consumed the earth. But something unexpected happened. Against all odds, the Greeks started winning. And the man leading them, Pausanias, he commanded with intelligence, patience, and deadly precision. And by the end of the battle, the Persian army was defeated. Completely. Dramatic pause. Greece was saved. And Pausanias became a legend. A hero worshipped like a god. Soft, mysterious music. After the victory, people praised him everywhere. Songs were written about him, stories spread across Greece. Some even said, Pausanias had been chosen by the gods. Pause. But power can change people. And sometimes, victory creates something far more dangerous than defeat. Ambition. The first strange signs. Music becomes darker. After the war, Pausanias began acting differently. Very differently. He started dressing like a Persian king. Yes, the very empire Sparta had just defeated. Pause. He wore luxurious robes. He adopted foreign customs. And people started whispering. Why would a Spartan commander act like the enemy? Some soldiers felt uneasy. Others became suspicious. But what happened next would shock all of Greece. The mystery begins. Low-tension music. Soon rumors began spreading. Dangerous rumors. They said Pausanias was secretly communicating with the Persian king himself. Pause. Imagine that. The hero of Greece possibly betraying Greece. But there was a problem. No proof. None. And in Sparta, accusations without proof were dangerous. But suspicion was growing. A question for you. Let me ask you something. If a war hero suddenly started behaving like the enemy, would you trust him? Or would you start to fear him? Pause. Because Sparta was about to face that exact dilemma. And their decision would lead to one of the most horrifying punishments in ancient history. The beginning of his fall. Ominous music begins. At first, Sparta called him back. They questioned him, investigated him. But Pausanias was clever. Very clever. He answered carefully, calmly, confidently. And for a moment, it seemed like he would escape suspicion. But someone, somewhere, was watching him closely. Someone who would soon reveal a secret that would destroy Pausanias forever. Pause. And what that person discovered would terrify even the Spartans. Cliffhanger ending part 1. Because the truth was far darker than betrayal. It involved secret messages, a dangerous plan, and a shocking ambition that could change the entire Greek world. Pause. And when the evidence finally appeared, Sparta did something so brutal that even today, historians still debate it. They didn't execute him. They didn't exile him. They did something much worse. They sealed him alive, inside a temple, and left him there to die. Heartbeat sound fades. But why? What did Pausanias really do? And was he truly guilty? Or a victim of fear and politics? After returning to Sparta, Pausanias appeared calm. Too calm. Pause. But behind the silence, a dangerous game was unfolding. You see, Pausanias had a servant, a trusted messenger, a man who carried his letters, his secrets, his hidden thoughts. And one day, that servant made a decision that would change history forever. Pause. He opened one of Pausanias' letters. The letter. Low suspense music. What he found inside terrified him. Pause. Because this was no ordinary message. It was written to the Persian king himself, the same enemy Pausanias had once defeated. But the words inside were far more shocking. Pausanias was offering something unbelievable. Not just information, not just loyalty. Pause. He was offering Greece. The betrayal plan. Dark music intensifies. According to the letter, Pausanias wanted to help Persia conquer Greece. In return, he would be rewarded with power, wealth, and possibly control over all of Greece. Pause. But that wasn't the worst part. He also asked for something personal, something chilling. He asked the Persian king for his daughter's hand in marriage. Pause. Think about that. A Spartan commander, dreaming of becoming part of the Persian royal family. It was more than betrayal. It was transformation. The most terrifying line. Heartbeat sound increases. But the servant kept reading. And then, he found the most horrifying line in the letter. Pause. Pausanias had written, "Anyone who delivers this message must be killed." Pause. Silence. The servant froze, his hands shaking, his breath heavy, because he realized something terrifying. Every messenger before him had never returned. A pattern of death. Slow, eerie music. Suddenly, everything made sense. The disappearances. The silence. The missing servants. Pause. They hadn't left. They had been silenced. Forever. And now, he was next. A desperate plan. Fast tension music builds. The servant knew one thing. If he delivered this letter, he would die. But if he ran, Pausanias would hunt him down. Pause. So he made a dangerous choice. Instead of running away, he went to the Spartan authorities. At first, they didn't believe him. After all, Pausanias was a hero, a savior of Greece. Pause. But the servant had something powerful. Evidence. The trap. Quiet suspense music. The Spartans decided to test the truth. They set a trap. A carefully planned moment. To catch Pausanias in his own words. The servant would meet Pausanias again. But this time, he wouldn't be alone. Hidden nearby, Spartan officials would listen. Waiting. Watching. The moment of truth. Heartbeat sound returns. The meeting began. Pausanias approached. Calm as ever. Confident. Unaware of what was about to happen. The servant acted nervous. Afraid. Perfectly. He asked Pausanias, "Why do your messengers never return?" Pause. For a moment. Silence. Then Pausanias spoke. And in that moment, he sealed his own fate. The confession. Dark music rises slowly. Pausanias didn't deny it. He didn't hesitate. Pause. Instead, he tried to calm the servant. He promised him safety, reward, protection. But in doing so, he admitted everything. His plan, his betrayal, his ambition, and hidden in the shadows, the Spartans heard it all. The fall of a hero. Dramatic music swell. That was it. No more doubts. No more questions. Pause. The greatest hero of Sparta was now its greatest enemy. And from that moment, Pausanias was no longer a legend. He was a traitor. But here's the twist. Music suddenly softened, mysterious tone. Or was he? Pause. Some historians believe this confession was not as clear as it seemed. That Pausanias may have been manipulated, trapped, even framed. Was the servant truly innocent? Or was he being used? Pause. And why would Pausanias confess so easily? A man known for intelligence and strategy. Suddenly careless. Something about this story doesn't fully add up. The final chase. Fast, intense music. When Pausanias realized what had happened, it was already too late. Sparta had turned against him. Pause. He ran. Desperate. Not to escape Greece, but to seek protection. And where did he go? Not to an army. Not to allies. Pause. He ran to a temple. A sacred place. Where no blood could be spilled. Because even Sparta respected the gods. Cliffhanger Part 2 end. Ominous music builds slowly. Inside that temple, Pausanias believed he was safe. Untouchable. Protected. But Sparta had other plans. Plans so cruel, so inhuman, that they would shock even their own people. They would not kill him. They would not drag him out. Pause. Instead, they would trap him inside, seal the doors, and let him die slowly. Alone. Hungry. Forgotten. But the most shocking part. Pause. The person who gave the final order was someone very close to him. Pausanias ran not like a warrior, but like a man hunted by his own past. Pause. Through the streets of Sparta, past the very people who once praised him, he ran toward the only place he believed could save him. A temple. Sacred. Untouchable. In ancient Greece, temples were not just buildings. They were the homes of the gods. and no man, not even Sparta, dared to spill blood inside them. Pause. If you entered a temple, you were under divine protection. And Pausanias knew that. Inside the temple, quiet echoing ambience, breathing heavily, his heart racing. Pausanias stepped inside. Dark stone walls surrounded him. The air was cold, still, almost suffocating. Pause. For the first time, the great Spartan general was afraid. Outside, Spartan soldiers began to gather, weapons ready, eyes filled not with respect, but with anger. A dangerous dilemma. Low-tension music. The Spartans faced a problem. A serious one. Pause. They could not kill him inside the temple. That would anger the gods, bring curses upon the city. But they could not let him go either. He was now a traitor, a threat. So they made a decision so cruel, it would echo through history. The order. Dramatic pause, heartbeat sound returns. The order came. Cold. Final. They would not enter the temple. They would not attack him. Pause. Instead, they would seal him inside. Brick by brick, stone by stone. They began to close the entrance. The moment realized. Slow, haunting music. At first, Pausanias didn't understand. He watched as the light at the doorway grew smaller, then smaller, then almost gone. Pause. And in that moment, he realized the truth. They weren't coming for him. They were leaving him to die. The final light. Heartbeat slows. The last ray of sunlight faded from the temple floor. Darkness swallowed everything. Pause. Outside, the walls were sealed. Inside, Pausanias was alone. No food, no water, no escape, just silence. In time, days of suffering, slow ticking sound. Hours passed, then days. At first he shouted, called for mercy, for reason. Pause. But no one answered. His voice grew weaker, his body weaker. The man who once commanded armies could no longer stand. The twist, a mother's decision. Deep emotional music begins. But the most shocking moment was yet to come. Among the crowd outside was someone unexpected, someone who had known Pausanias long before he became a hero. His mother. Pause. She watched in silence as the temple was sealed, as her son was left to die. And then she stepped forward. According to ancient accounts, it was she who placed the first stone. Long pause. Imagine that. A mother helping seal her own son's fate. Why? Because in Sparta, loyalty to the state came before everything, even family. His final moments. Soft, sorrowful music. Inside the darkness, Pausanias lay on the cold stone floor. Weak, broken, alone. Some say he begged the gods for forgiveness. Others say he cursed Sparta until his final breath. But no one truly knows his last words. Pause. Because no one was there to hear them. A cruel mercy. Low, mysterious tone. But here's something even more disturbing. When Pausanias was close to death, the Spartans opened the temple, not to save him. Pause. But to take him out before he died inside, because they feared something strange. If he died inside the temple, it would still anger the gods. So they dragged his dying body out. And only then let him die. The final truth. Dark music slowly rises. And just like that, the hero of Plataea was gone. No funeral, no honor, no glory, only a story filled with suspicion, fear, and unanswered questions. Was he really guilty? Pause. Even today, historians are divided. Was Pausanias truly a traitor? A man blinded by ambition? Or was he a victim of politics, jealousy, and fear of his growing power? Because one thing is certain. Pause. Sparta did not forgive greatness. If it became dangerous. Final emotional closing. Slow cinematic music. Pausanias saved Greece. He defeated its greatest enemy. He became a legend. And in the end, his own people turned him into a warning. A warning that in Sparta, even heroes are not safe. Pause. Because sometimes, the greatest threat is not your enemy. It is your own people.